Hey guys, welcome to my newest video for today. Today's video is going to be the third installment of my weekly review segment, and I'm just going to get straight into talking about what I've watched over the past week. And starting off, as usual, I'll just briefly talk about the TV show that I finished watching this week, and that was The Cheaters Season 1, which I had never actually seen an episode of until I actually sat down and started watching it, and so I knew it was like a historical drama based on like Henry VIII and his relationships and like all the dramas that went on like with that, and based on what I saw of the first season, I actually enjoyed it. I wasn't quite too sure what to expect. I wasn't obviously expecting like Game of Thrones style, with the violence and everything like that. Like, I didn't expect it to be up to that level, like with going like medieval, and like, I know it's a different network as well, but I wasn't really too sure what to expect, and then when I started watching it, I actually found myself quite enjoying it, and pretty much, I know the show's probably got dozens of historical inaccuracies, like it's not the most accurate portrayal of like Tudor England, but for the show, like for entertainment purposes, it did that. It kept me entertained, and I liked how, like, with the relationship between Henry and his first wife, Catherine, or the actress who played her. I can't think of the actress off the top of my head, but she's in Orphan Black. Because when I was watching, I was like, I've seen her somewhere, and then, when I looked up the credits, I was like, that's where I've seen it from, because, she's the, it's like the guardian in Orphan, like, the main character's, daughter, and then because I was watching that, and then, it's quite a few people I recognise, because in the first episode, the very first 5 minutes, because I was like, that looks like Sean Pertwee, and, well, even though his character, got killed in the first 5 minutes of the show, I'm assuming that's not a spoiler, because he played the kid's uncle, and he got stabbed to death in, the court, so, that was, I was kind of like, because, that was kind of surprising that his character didn't actually last, but I was just watching it, I was like, oh hey, this, and then of course it also has Sam Neill as Cardinal Wolsey, I think that's his name, but I'm assuming, given the events of the end of season 1, he's not in any of the other seasons, I'm assuming. I could be wrong because I haven't watched season 2 yet, but that's pretty based on what happened, as I said, end of season 1, and the other thing is, I can't believe how young Natalie Dormer looks in this show. When you compare her to her role in Game of Thrones, and then also Hunger Games and Elementary, she looks completely different, to when she was back in, well, when the show was 2007, so. And I also like Jonathan Rhys-Meyers' portrayal as Henry VIII. I think he does a pretty good job, so and it's got enough political intrigue and scandal, I guess would be the word, and life at the royal court, and so I'm eager to check out season 2, which I do have, so I will hopefully be checking that out probably in the new year. I don't think I'll get to it before year's end, but that's the TV show that I finished watching, Tudor Season 1. So now into the movies. First up is Expendables 3, which was the first time viewing for me because I missed out on it when it was in theaters. I actually enjoyed it. I know a lot of people didn't really care for it, but I liked it, but not as much as the second one. The second one is still my favourite out of the three, but and personally I don't really think the younger team really worked that well, because I think what makes Expendables work is having like people like Stallone and Stratham and Schwarzenegger, having all of them working like as a team. I did like the introduction, like Harrison Ford's character. He was cool in this. I got a huge kick out of like when he's in the helicopter and Schwarzenegger's like, "Oh, where did you learn to fly?" That made me, that got a laugh out of me. If it's referring to what I think it was referring to, then that kind of that bit made me laugh, and and I liked the ending. That was cool when they got back to doing what they, Expendables do best. And I liked Wesley Snipes' character, and I did again got a when they said, when he's saying, "Oh, I heard you murdered all these people and all of this," and then they're like, "Oh, what did you so what were you in jail for?" And he's like, "Tax evasion," like obviously referring to Wesley Snipes, being jailed for tax evasion for 8 years. So I did like that how they referred to that, and I also thought Mel Gibson was really good as the villain in this. His he was I don't think I liked him, but probably not as much as Van Damme as a villain in Expendables 2, but he was still good. And along with Harrison Ford, probably one of the best scenes in this film. So, but overall it was okay. But as I said, not as good as Expendables 2. So, and then I watched Dune, which from '84, which I had never seen before. So, and to be honest, I wasn't too sure what to expect, because I know it's based on the book, which is like this huge series, and I know it's like a lot of there's again like political intrigue, and you've got people planning this and that, and you've got different houses and like royal families and things like that. And I've never read the book, so even though after seeing this I do want to read it, but but I actually liked it. It was a bit different, but it kept me entertained, and I did get a kick out of seeing Patrick Stewart in a Captain Picard role, because this came out in '84, and obviously Next Generation started in '87, so that was kind of cool. And he had a decent sized role. It wasn't one of the main people, but because he was one of the security guards. You did see his character throughout, so I liked it. And then I watched the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from this past year, the Michael Bay film, and I know this film got a lot of flack, but I actually enjoyed it. Again, I went into it with zero expectations, because to be honest, I'm not that big of a Turtle fan. I've never watched the cartoon, I've never seen any of the previous films. This is, actually, no, that's a lie. I did watch the Power Rangers in Space Ninja Turtles crossover episode that they did, even though I'm sure most people like to pretend that one doesn't exist. But I actually liked that episode, so I have a weird taste, don't judge me. But I actually liked it. I liked Megan Fox in this, and I also liked what was her fellow journalist who was with her all the he like did the drive like in the truck, and he was funny. I just can't think of what his name is, but I liked him. And then and yeah, so overall, like, you know, it kept me entertained. And I liked all the like the battles and everything, and yeah, so I liked it. I just obviously now need to check out all the other films that were in this, the previous film. So, and then I watched Meet Me in St. Louis, which is sort of like the Christmassy film that I watched in the past week, because I'm actually saving up the rest of my Christmas films for like rest of this week up until Christmas. So yeah, so I've only really been watching them sporadically up until yeah, this point, and I decided to watch Meet Me in St. Louis because not strictly a Christmassy film. It's set mostly in the holidays, and you also have you know, the song "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas" in it, and yeah, I think it was and I've always liked this one, and it's been a while since I've seen it, so I decided to watch it again like this Christmas season. So did, and yeah, I like it. It's a good like little musical. And then I watched Twister, which I've seen and I love, and yeah, I was just in the mood to watch a disaster film. So yeah, and it, as I said, been a couple of years since I'd seen Twister, so I decided to put it on, and yeah, you know, it's just a fun way to film a couple of hours, and given everything that's happened in this past week, I just wanted something, you know, like a mindless action adventure film. So, and I chose Twister. So, and you know, I've always loved this film, and you know, for a brief period of time, I wanted to be a storm chaser. Like, I wanted to be a meteorologist, and I wanted to study like tornadoes, and I wanted to chase them, and which, along with, you know, a bunch of other people, I'm sure, who wanted to do that when they saw this film. Because I was like this came out in 96, so I was like 9 when this film came out. So, and like for that, pretty much that year, like 96, 97, that's what I wanted to be, like when I grew up, and then I changed it. But, like, I decided, grew out of that phase. So yeah, for a period of time I was briefly obsessed with tornadoes, and so, but I still love this movie, and yeah, and then I watched Tron Legacy, which I've seen before, and I rewatched Tron, like the original film, like a couple of months ago, so I decided I wanted to watch the sequel. And while I like Tron Legacy, I still think I prefer Tron, the original Tron, too. But I like Jeff Bridges in these films, so, and I still liked him in, like, Tron Legacy, so, and, as far as I'm aware, Tron 3 is going ahead, so that'll be interesting to see what they do with that one. But, yeah, so Tron Legacy, and then I watched Terminator 2, and this is going to probably not surprise anyone given my history with a lack of watching certain films. I have not seen this film. I've seen the first Terminator film. I saw that last year, and yeah, and I finally got round to watching the second one, and I loved the second one. It was awesome. And I had no idea Robert Patrick was actually in this film, because I watched Scorpion and he's in that, and I was just, because I was staring at it and I was like, I'm sure that's Robert, like, well, I didn't know his name at the time. I was like, I'm sure that's the guy out of Scorpion, and then I looked it up and turned out I was right. So, but yeah, it was just really weird seeing how young he was, like, in this film, like, considering the film came out in 91. But yeah, no, I actually really enjoyed it. Yeah, it was pretty much non-stop action, like, from start to finish, and yeah, and I can see why this is a lot of people's favourites, and because I'm trying to watch the rest of the Terminator films, because Terminator 5 comes out next year. This is Genesis, I think that's the name of the title. Yeah, because I want to see it, but I want to watch the other films first. So, and yeah, so Terminator 2 was awesome. Probably did like it a bit more than the first one, even though the first one was really good as well. So, but yeah, I really enjoyed Terminator 2. And then I was in a bit of a 90s mood, so I watched first Jurassic Park. I've seen this film before, and again, Jurassic World's coming out next year, so I thought this was, you know, perfect opportunity to finally get around to watching the second and the third one, because I saw the first one last year when they did the 3D release, and I thought, you know, seeing it on the big screen would be the first, like, a good way to introduce myself to the film, and I loved the film. And then, yeah, rewatching it on, like, Blu-ray, it's still a lot of fun. And yeah, so yeah, I do liked Jurassic Park. And then I watched First Night, which I'd never seen before, which is like the story of Camelot, and has Sean Connery as King Arthur and Richard Gere as Lancelot. And I quite liked this take on like the the Legend of Camelot, and yeah, and I thought, and I quite enjoyed it as a historical film, and or period film, maybe the better word too, maybe not historical, but yeah, I like it. It was a good period film, and as I've mentioned before, I love stories that deal with the Camelot legend, and I quite liked Sean Connery in this one. I thought he was quite good. So that was that one. And then the last of the regular films that I watched was Toy Story 2. I watched Toy Story back in like April, which is like for the first time in ages. Like, obviously I've seen all 3 Toy Story films, but this is like my first time, like, since I've picked them up on Blu-ray, that I've really watched them. And so I watched the first one, like, yeah, as I said, back in April, and then it took a while to get to the second one, even though I love the second one. And yeah, the second one's a lot of fun, and it's I've always liked, because I always liked, like, you know, the whole Zurg and this other Buzz Lightyear, and because when, you know, the whole "I am your father" scene, that because I saw Toy Story 2 like back when it first came out in cinemas, and I always got to because at that point, like, I was only recently had become a Star Wars fan, so that scene had you know, that cracked me up a lot, because I was like, oh, I know where that reference came from, and it's kind of like that, because I was like 12, so but yeah, I do love Toy Story 2, and except after that, it's like this, I kind of went to I had to go back and listen to song "When She Loved Me," because I love that song. It's, even though it's like really depressing, but yeah, I like it, and yeah, I had to listen to it because it was like in my head. And but no, I do enjoy Toy Story 2, so again, like, you know, a whole another, like, with sort of like with Terminator 2, the sequel being better than the original. So even though in Toy Story 2 case it's not that much better, because I still love the first one, because they're pretty much, the 3 of them are all equal, but I'll talk about Toy Story 3 when I do get around to rewatching it. So that, and then the final film is the movie that I saw at the cinema this past week, and that was Annie, the 2014 version. Yeah, I know, but as you know, I love musicals, and this is not going to be to everyone's taste. I'm fully aware of that. There's going to be some people who hate this, and judging by a lot of the reviews that I've come across, that seems to be the case, but it's a really charming film. And I mean, yes, it's more designed for like little kids, because at the session that I was at, there's quite a few kids there. I was probably the only adult seeing this by choice, but no, I liked it. I liked the girl playing Annie, I cannot pronounce her name. She was really good in it. She was like, you know, I liked her portrayal of Annie. I know there's, you know, obviously some people aren't gonna like it, that it wasn't played by, you know, the traditional redheaded, like, you know, redheaded Anglo-Saxon Annie, but she did a good job. It was and I liked like the songs. It was, I mean, they did change the tempo was a bit different to like the songs. It had a more modern vibe, which I suppose, considering it was set in modern day New York as opposed to 1930s New York when the Broadway show is set, makes a bit more sense. But no, I also liked how self-aware this film was, because when people started bursting the song, they're like, "Are you really singing right now?" And like the bit at the end, because he was basically like, oh, if when they're watching it on TV, he's like, oh, he wouldn't have been elected mayor if the way he was singing like that. Like, it was basically, yeah, just, it did acknowledge, like with the whole, because sometimes musicals, you just randomly burst into song and then everyone just carries about like nothing's happened. But this one, it was, yeah, very self-aware, and I do actually want to get the soundtrack to it, because I loved the songs and they were stuck in my head. It was like, because I had It's a Hard Knock Life stuck in my head. It was sort of playing over it, but yeah, it was, I liked it, and I gave it about a 7.5 out of 10. So, but as I mentioned, it's not going to be to everyone's taste, especially if you're more like a traditionalist and you only like the original version of, like the Broadway version of Annie. Well, purist is probably the term. Like, if you're a theatre purist, you're most likely not going to like it. But if you're open to adaptations and interpretations and like then yeah, I'd give it a go. It's like, even if you don't necessarily want to see it in theatres, if you buy it or like or you like rent it, or I don't know, whichever way you want to see it, it is, I really enjoyed it. So, and like, I thought it was good. So and yeah, so that is basically the end of my third weekly reviews. So thank you guys for watching, and until my next video, I will see you guys next time. Bye!